So first let's review the GUI. If you right-click the logo, everything will reset. The input gain, with the left mouse you can drag it up and down. You can also drag the VU meters. They will display the input audio here and the output audio here. And the output gain control is this one. You right-click to reset. When you have the input audio, you should generally aim to center it in this green center bar. Then you have the slew rate meter. First, the slew rate in dB full scale. And if you hit 0, you will clip. So you should stay in the green area. You can go into the yellow, but generally don't cross this line. And also the slew meter will show the actual dB slew rate. So that will be around 300 to 400 dB. Then you have the tracking force. This controls how hard you slew the input audio. If you drag it to the left, you will get more treble. So the slews will generally tend to go into this area. And if you drag it up higher and make the tone arm heavier, then the slews will go down here and you will get a more distorted and more dark sound. You right-click to reset. Again, you can right-click up here to reset every parameter at once. Then you have the tone arm resonance, which controls the frequency at which the tone arm will resonate. This can create a lot of bass. You can go between 10 to 100 hertz. So the first thing you would do when you use this is to find the frequency you want to resonate, if you want to resonate a frequency, and then you can dampen this frequency to make it a little more pleasant. You can also use the damping to create a little bit more variation in the audio, but I'll demonstrate that in the video with some music. If you clip the audio, these 4 clip meters will light up, but the plugin itself allows 6 dB of overshoot. So these will light up at 0 dB, but you still have 6 dB of overshoot. So if they blink occasionally, then you don't have to worry about it. This vertical bar of meters up here, left and right, will also show the slew rate, but they will only light up if you are in the yellow area. So if you have a slew rate that begins right around here, the first ones will light up, and if you have a slew rate that goes all the way up, almost into the red, you will light all the way up into this area. So this is if you want to have a bright sound, you can let it go into the yellow a little bit, and then you can easily see quickly if you're in the top end or the low end of the yellow bar, but generally you want to stay in the green. I'm just going to show using a tone generator that on the spectrum how the plugin, when it is set to no slew control, how it still internally simulates the slew rate of a vinyl record. And there'll be a tone now. Okay. So as you can see, there's a very little slew rate at 440 Hz at minus 18 dB. And also here you can see that the fast VU, they are following the VU specifications, by the way. And the slow meters in the center will be more of an average. So here you can control the input and output. You can also drag here if you want, and right-click to reset. And the same with the output. Generally, you should aim the input into this green area. This is good gain staging practice. But the output you can set to taste. You would use the air windows meter to set the proper output and you should obviously aim for the high area up here. And as you can see now, we are clipping, but again, you have 6 dB, so even if you clip occasionally, that is acceptable. So let's increase the frequency and look at the slew meter while I increase the frequency, and then notice how it rises and then drops back when the frequency gets to a certain point. You can see the maximum slew rate happens around 10,000 hertz. Excuse me. Yes, 10,000 hertz. So below 10,000 hertz you get less slew rate, and when you get above 10,000 hertz, the simulator, the tone arm simulator, begins to not be able to track the slew of the music quite as fast as you would normally do in digital. So this creates a sort of, on a spectrum you would have the low and the mid, and then the highs would sort of roll off to give a more natural sound. As you can see, we are having a slew rate of almost 400 dB per sample at 96 kilohertz. This plugin is tuned to only work correctly at 96 kilohertz, but you can also use it at 44 or 88, but it will not be completely accurate unless you use it at 96 kilohertz. And just checking down here, you can see that if I turn up the volume, that there is at some frequencies some distortion. Let me see if I can find one. Yeah, here you can see. So this is unfortunately the best that I can do with this code. So there will be some aliasing when you hit certain frequencies. This comes from the slew rate limiter, and unfortunately this is not possible to eradicate completely without getting into CPU use that is excessive. You can see I'm already using half of one core on my 3.4 gigahertz CPU. Anyway, on to the music. So first I'm gonna just reset everything, right click on the logo, and everything is back to the default. The default is the most normal turntable simulator, so in general this is where you start. So I'm gonna bypass the plugin now, and then I'm gonna start some music. This might be a bit loud, so prepare for that. Alright, so as you can see, this is a 96 kilohertz sample. This music is technically already mastered, but I did that before I had the Air Windows hit record meter, and as you can see here, I mastered it way too bright and way too loud. So the score for this song is, what did it say? CF, I think. Going this way again. Leaving. Certainly not calm, but okay. Going this way. Anyway, so let's engage the plugin at its default, and you will notice that all the overslews will disappear immediately. We also have a little more room for the peaks up here and a darker sound. Let's try again to see where it ends up. Going this way again. Leaving. So let's check a look at the green line here. This is the score, the dynamic score. When I turn off the plugin, notice how it drops. Going this way again. So you can see the song when the plugin is off scores worse on the hit meter than when the plugin is on. And of course the hit record meter was developed by Chris from Air Windows using vinyl records, and this plugin simulates the tone, the possible tone from a vinyl record, the tone you can get. You could say the plugin sort of clamps the digital audio into what you could get from a vinyl record. So I have slew rates that goes just barely into the yellow, and as you can see that is just at the top of the slew meter. If I turn the slew control down, so if I lowers the tracking weight, which means that the slew limiter will be less active. Now we are starting to see slews, and you can also see, as I said, when you're in the yellow, these will show that we have over slews now. And of course the score drops again. So right click the slew meter, boom, you're back to the perfect slew control. You can also increase the slew if you need to make it darker. Now I'm turning it up, making the tone arm heavier. You can see now the maximum slews are not going all the way up to the top. I'm just going to be quiet and try to turn it up and down so you can hear the difference in the sound.
Going this way again, leaving. Going this way again, leaving. Going this way again, leaving.
And if you go into excessive slew control, it will start to distort. Alright, so let's check the resonance. I'm gonna first dial in a resonance that increases the bass.
Going this way again, leaving. Going this way again,
And then I'm gonna dampen the oscillations.
leaving. Going this way again,
And you should check this meter down here to see what happens when I do that.
going this way again, leaving.
When we don't dampen them, you can see we go into the deeper frequencies and have a lot of bass, and when I dampen them, we get a better distribution. If I dampen it too much, then we will get into the higher area. So try to balance this. Or just aim for whatever kind of bottom end in the sound you want. This can be useful if you have a song that doesn't have a whole lot of bottom end, then you can sort of dial that in here. Find the frequency that makes most sense for the music. You can get very, very deep, as you can see. I'm just going to bypass the plugin. And engage it again. And I actually forgot to gain stage it, so let's just try to reset everything and then drag it back into. And you should pay most attention to the fast meter when you aim for the green, but the average is also a pretty good indicator. So now you can see we have lowered the maximum peak level, and also slews are still in control. We have a lot more slew information now. Of course, when you have a lower volume, you have more room for slews in the higher frequencies because you have less amplitude. But still, it's a bit too high even at this gain stage volume, so we still engage the default. It will automatically set it so that you have the maximum possible slew rate that you can have on this meter here. So the output gain staging, I will use that to get the gain back up.
Going this way again. Leaving. Going this way again.
Okay, I'm gonna use another song as an example to show how the oscillation damping can help get more variation in a song. And this one is gonna be very loud, so let's first start it without the plugin. As you can see, this was completely terribly mastered, way too bright and way too loud. I just reset the plugin and then I'm gonna engage the plugin. So now the slew rate is limited to the maximum area that meter wants you to limit it to. And we are no longer over bright. As you can see, we have blue colors instead of red. And the green got up significantly. I'm just going to try to turn off the plugin again so you can see how it drops when I turn it off. Instantly we have a bad score. Yeah, well, I'm not sure it should be calm, but as soon as I turn it on, you can see the score increases, so that's already an improvement. But as you can see, it's too flat, so let's see what we can do about that. I'm gonna increase the oscillation damping and pay attention. We now get clipping, so I'm gonna turn the... I forgot the gain stage again, let's just do that. Back to a good general area there, but now we're too low here, of course. But pay attention to this line when I increase the oscillation damping, and you will see that it will be a bit more wiggly because there's more dynamics happening. So you can see we get a little more dynamics, and this is because the tone arm is now oscillating. The tone arm is following the groove, but when you dampen it, it creates a bit more, well, I guess it tracks it harder, so, or faster, so it overshoots a bit more going back and forth in the groove, so this creates a bit more dynamic range, and this is a trick that you can use to save songs like this. And then we increase the gain to get back up to the normal area. And again, remember, it's okay to clip occasionally because the plugin here will allow 6 dB overshoot, but of course you shouldn't clip if you end up clipping down here. I have a 3 dB gain reduction on the master output to not overload the video, but generally if you see clipping on this meter, you will also see clipping down here. Let's see what we have now. Well, there's only so much you can do, but we don't have a whole lot of bottom end, so let's see if we can fix that. And first I'm going to turn off the damping factor to find the frequency I want. just like that, we suddenly have 6 dB of headroom. It's still bright, but we have a lot more sonority, and we are all the way up to BE on this one. And you'll have to play with the settings to find what works best for the individual song. And I'm just going to bypass the plugin. And I'm gonna bypass it one more time. Notice how it drops down here when I bypass it and raises again when I engage it. And I would say that it does sound better. But of course, if you mix a track properly to begin with, then you can get more out of simulating the vinyl sound. And I'm gonna bypass it. It's certainly an improvement, and that's how the plugin works. And just one final quick example, you can also use this plugin as a de-esser if you have a voice that has too much sibilant information. And I'm just going to reset it, right click the logo, or if you want to reset only one individual control, you just right click the control. Everything will reset when you right click this area here. Boom. So first I'm gonna play the intro to this song, and you will see that the voice has too many sibilants.
Your picture stands still, but you dance with such grace. Now memories are all I embrace.
And then I'm gonna engage the plugin and try again at default settings.
Your picture stands still, but you dance with such grace. Now memories are all I embrace.
And let's try to loop it so it's easier to hear.
Your picture stands still, but you dance with such grace. Now memories are all I embrace.
Oh, forgot the looper. And let's just... the hard drive needs to spin up apparently. There we go.
Your picture stands still, but you dance with such grace. Stand still, but your picture stands picture stand still, but your picture stand still, but your picture
This is with the plugin. Now I'm gonna bypass it.
stand still, but your picture 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 stand.
And as you can see, you don't lose any of the dynamic range.
Your picture stand still, but 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 you dance with such grace. Now memories are all I embrace. In the palm of my hand, your tiny shoes lay, a symbol of hand. Your tiny shoes lay, a symbol. Hand, your tiny shoes lay, a symbol of dreams that have drifted away. Each step, each smile should have lasted for years now. All that's left are these silent tears.
So that is the plugin Stylus. I hope it will work for you, but remember, it should be run at 96 kilohertz because everything is tuned for that, and if you run it at 44.1 or 48, you might get slightly different spectrum variations with how the slew rate, how it controls the various frequencies, because they all relate to their amplitude, so it's a bit tricky to get it to work at all different sample rates. So 96 is where you get the how the plugin is tuned to work correctly.